Hey, Jill.
Though they're not full, numbered Resident Evil titles, the Revelations games are still canonical, semi-mainline titles. And though they're far from crucial to the series' larger story, they do fill in the blanks in some important ways. Resident Evil Revelations, for instance, takes place between the events of RE4 and 5 in the year 2005, and while it's by no means required reading for any of the other games in the series, it is still part of the RE canon. Here, we're going to recount the events of the game as part of our ongoing series in which we recap the franchise's story. Before we go ahead, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos every single day, and your support really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's start. An event that is an important part of Revelation's backbone in terms of narrative is the Terra Grigia Panic. 1 year before the events of the game, a bioterror attack unleashed by bioterrorism group Ilveltro wreaked havoc on the city of Terra Grigia. Anti-bioterrorism group Federal Bioterrorism Commission, or the FBC, shouldered the responsibility of dealing with the outbreak, and as a result, the city itself was completely destroyed. Revelation's story picks up 1 year later, putting the spotlight on Jill Valentine, who is now an agent of the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, or BSAA, a group that she herself co-founded with Chris Redfield. As Revelation's events kick off, Jill and fellow BSAA agent Parker Luciani are given a new assignment by BSAA head Clive O'Brien, tasking them with heading to an abandoned cruise ship, Queen Zenobia, in the Mediterranean. Their mission is to search for Chris and his new partner, Jessica Shurawat, who have gone missing, with the Queen Zenobia being their last known location. When Jill and Parker arrive on the ship, however, their mission quickly goes awry. Immediately, they encounter a new aquatic bioweapon known as the Ooze, which is what people turn into when affected by the T-Abyss virus. On top of that, it turns out that Chris and Jessica were never on the ship, and that Jill and Parker have instead sprung a trap laid down by Ilveltro. They are both knocked unconscious and immediately taken captive. Chris and Jessica, in fact, are someplace else entirely, investigating the Valkoinen Moki airstrip, which is the headquarters of Ilveltro. When they manage to re-establish contact with the BSAA, the pair is told by O'Brien that Jill and Parker have now gone missing in the Mediterranean. Chris and Jessica are immediately redeployed, and the two make for the Queen Zenobia. Back on the ship, Jill and Parker come to, and find that they're being held in separate rooms, but the two manage to make their way back to each other. As they head further into the ship and face all manner of horrors, they eventually chance across some crucial information. For starters, they discover what Ilveltro's goal is. The bioterrorism group intends to unleash the T-Abyss virus, which will in turn infect a huge chunk of the world's oceans. Meanwhile, they also find out that the T-Abyss virus was created by Ilveltro themselves, who plan to use it for revenge against the FBC, who were responsible for wiping out a large number of their forces during the Terra Grigia Panic a year ago. Armed with this knowledge, Jill and Parker head for the Queen Zenobia's comm tower, where they intend to call for aid in hopes of being evacuated. But as soon as they arrive, they encounter another hurdle. It seems Morgan Lansdale, the head of the FBC, has activated the Regia Solis. And what exactly is that? Well, it's a solar-powered satellite that the FBC used to destroy the city of Terra Grigia a year ago, and that Lansdale now intends to use to destroy and sink the Queen Zenobia as well, thus erasing evidence of the FBC's involvement in the disastrous incident that led to the city's destruction, along with a few other things which we'll get into in just a bit. Jill and Parker attempt to use a UAV to stop the satellite attack, but though they are successful to some degree, their efforts are still not entirely effective, and the ship soon begins to flood. Chris and Jessica arrive on the Queen Zenobia around the same time, and they soon meet up with Jill and Parker. Soon afterward, they cross paths with a masked Ilveltro operative, and the ensuing conversation seems to hint at a larger conspiracy afoot. However, just as the operative is about to drop crucial information, he is shot by Jessica. His mask falls off, and he is revealed to be a man named Raymond Vester, who used to be Parker's old partner when both of them worked together at the FBC. Vester seemingly dies before whispering something into Parker's ear. At this point, our four primary protagonists decide to split up into two groups again. Jill and Chris pair up and head to the lab in the ship to try and stop the T-Abyss virus from spreading into the sea, while Parker and Jessica together head to the Queen Zenobia's engine room to try to find a way to stop the ship from sinking. As the latter pair enters the engine room, Parker turns his gun on Jessica, having been told by Vester that she is an FBC mole. Oh, and Vester, as it turns out, is still alive thanks to a Kevlar vest, and is revealed to have been working with BSAA head Clive O'Brien. Jessica gets the upper hand on Parker, wounding him and triggering the ship's self-destruct sequence before fleeing from the scene. Meanwhile, as Chris and Jill arrive in the lab, they're contacted by Lansdale through a video uplink. Lansdale tells them that the FBC and Il Veltro actually worked together during the Terra Grigia panic, and that the whole thing had been orchestrated by him so that he could increase the FBC's funding and its legitimacy as an organization. Meanwhile, he also had his research team aboard the Queen Zenobia make a vaccine for the T-Abyss, and once they had delivered it to him, he had them killed as well. As the ship begins to explode and sink, Chris and Jill manage to successfully neutralize the virus before fleeing from the scene. The two climb onto a chopper piloted by BSA agent Kirk Matheson, but unfortunately, Parker is unable to escape. As he attempts to make it onto the chopper before the ship explodes, a catwalk breaks beneath his feet, sending him tumbling into a seemingly fiery death.
Damn it. Just not my night. Damn it! Good times, Jill. It was a nice ride.
What?
See you guys.
As Chris and Jill are escaping, they're contacted by O'Brien, who reveals that the Queen Zenobia mission was orchestrated by him so that he could get his hands on evidence that would incriminate Lansdale. Evidence that, of course, no longer exists, since Shurawat, who was working for Lansdale, managed to blow the ship up. Meanwhile, O'Brien also informs the pair that there is another ship, the Queen Zenobia's sister ship, known as Queen Dido, beneath the ruins of Terra Grigia, where they might be able to find some evidence incriminating Lansdale. At this point, however, Lansdale has O'Brien arrested, cutting off his communications with Jill and Chris. The duo heads to the second ship regardless, where they find Jack Norman, the leader of Il Veltro. A fight ensues between them, in which an already infected Norman injects himself with an overdose of the T-Abyss virus, turning himself into a new kind of tyrant. During this encounter, however, he is also recorded by Chris and Jill as he talks about his work with the FBC, who then betrayed him. After successfully killing him following a grueling battle, the two of them broadcast the video. As the truth about Lansdale and the FBC's involvement in the Terra Grigia panic is made public, Lansdale is arrested, while O'Brien is set free, though he, taking responsibility for his part in the Queen Zenobia mission, still steps down as the BSAA's director. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Parker didn't die and was rescued by Vester, and would soon go back to working with the BSAA. Meanwhile, Vester himself has an agenda of his own. Resident Evil Revelations' post-credit scene shows him meeting up with Jessica in a cafe, where he hands her a sample of the T-Abyss virus, and cryptically tells her that he had his reasons for saving Parker. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request before we conclude. We upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.